Welcome to Beyond the Lab, a series by the Office of Career Development within the Biomedical Research Education Training Department of the Vanderbilt University School of Medicine. My name is Kate Stewart, and I'm here today with Leah Potter. She graduated in 2011 in MPB, and she is here today to talk about her path. So welcome back.
Thanks so much for having me.
So tell me what you did here at Vanderbilt.
So here at Vanderbilt, I was in Mark Magnuson's laboratory in the Center of Stem Cell Biology. And my dissertation, it was primarily on the transcriptional profile of pancreatic progenitors.
Okay. So from there, how did you get to where you are now?
Oh, goodness. It was a long path. That very last year, I was trying to figure out, did I really want to go pursue a postdoc and kind of do more research along the lines of what I was doing, or did I want to kind of migrate to the dark side? To the corporate world. And so through one of the Brett newsletters, I noticed that Synchrogenics, the company I work for now, was opening an office here in Nashville. So I went to the informational seminar and then ended up applying for a job.
Okay, great. So tell me what you do. So you're a medical writer. Mm-hmm. So what do you do actually?
So the majority of my day I spend at a computer, at a laptop. And either I'm working on documents that are going to go to the regulatory authorities like the FDA mm-hmm. or the authorities in Japan or in Europe. And so I'm contracted by pharmaceutical companies to write documents for clinical trials.
Okay. So percentage-wise, how much are you editing, reviewing? How much are you emailing, meeting? Like, what does that look like?
I would say about 60% of my day is working on writing a document. Okay. And then the remainder of my day, I'm either emailing with clients, following up on feedback or revisions that they gave me to the document. And then some days I'll spend as much as like 2 or 4 hours on the phone with clients.
Okay.
Unfortunately, in Nashville, we don't have a ton of pharmaceutical companies, so I don't do a lot of face-to-face with the clients. So it's a lot of teleconferences, WebEx, Skype, mm-hmm. which is some of that I was able to do here at Vanderbilt in my doctorate.
Okay, so how is this job a good fit for you?
As funny as it sounds, I really enjoyed writing my dissertation. The final product, years of work, and I enjoyed writing manuscripts. And so, just kind of like that final package, and I enjoy English, and so it was a really good fit. I just really enjoyed writing, so that's kind of how I ended up with it.
Okay, good. So, what are some of the skills that you used? That you use now that you gained from Vanderbilt?
I would say probably the biggest skills that I gained were critical thinking, mm-hmm. being able to independently lead your own projects, because a lot of time it's the solo medical writer working with a clinical development team. So there will be a team of investigators, medical doctors that are, working on a particular clinical trial. And not to say that they sometimes suggest things that are inaccurate, but you've got to be able to rationally explain your opinion or what the data says, because sometimes as the writer, you're in the nitty-gritty of the data, and they may not always be, or they may not understand it to the degree that you've recently looked at all the tables and the listings and you really have a handle on it. So being able to critically think about the data and mm-hmm. rationally explain it to somebody, and then also just the ability to interact with other people and other people across all fields, because I interact with, of course, medical doctors that are leading the trials, but then you also have people that are more the organizational side, like clinical trial managers, mm-hmm. and then you have regulatory people as well. So being able to really interact with people of diverse backgrounds.
Okay, so what are some of the skills that you had to gain once you got to your new position? What are some things that you didn't have in your skill set?
I definitely had to hone my writing skills. There was a lot that I didn't remember from, grade school and high school about writing. So sentence structure and everything, really had to work on that and sharpen my Microsoft Word skills.
Yeah.
That was something that, there's so much that would have been helpful in writing my dissertation in hindsight now if I had known how to use Microsoft Word a lot better than what I did.
Okay, so you did not do a postdoc, correct?
No, I didn't do a postdoc.
Do you think that there is Is that something that is a quick transition from grad school? Is it an easy transition?
Mm-hmm.
Would you have preferred to do a postdoc? Like, what do you think about that?
I don't think I would have preferred to do a postdoc because I knew probably about middle way through my doctorate studies that I probably was not going to pursue. It was a hard decision, but I really thought I probably wasn't going to pursue doing a postdoc, that I really wanted to think about alternative careers, I guess you could say. But I think the postdoc, the one thing, if you don't get in your graduate studies, the one thing a postdoc can really afford you is like the leadership. If you really haven't written your own grant and developed some of those independent writing skills, if you haven't had opportunities to co-write or write your own grant, or if you really haven't had the ability to like lead projects, and not just leading your own project, just you and yourself, but, you know, multifaceted, where you're working with different cores here at Vanderbilt, or you're working with different teams. And some of the teams that I worked with at Vanderbilt, you know, within my project, some of them were international as well. So being able to work with, you know, just different people.
Yeah. So what are some activities or coursework you would recommend trainees pursue if they're interested in being in a field like you?
So the AMA, the American Medical Writers Association, the AMWAM, they have a great website that would give kind of guidance about what this career is a little bit about. There are training courses and different things that you can take. Not to say that I took the slacker route, but I didn't do any of that. You know, really, I tailored my resume to talk about my leadership qualities and about leading my own independent projects and about writing. So I think that's what really stood out, you know, tailoring your resume with action items of what you have done, I think is what stood out. Okay.
So talk about networking. Do you do much networking? What does that look like for you personally?
Yeah, I think networking is really important. The introverted side of myself doesn't get out and do it often enough. I've really gotten into making sure my LinkedIn profile is update. This particular career is very low supply, high demand. So there are definitely headhunters and consultants that are looking for you because you have a particular skill set they're really looking for. So I have made sure to keep that profile update. But then other than that, Vanderbilt has a great network of alumni. And so really, I can't tell you how many times I've been to coffee or lunch with various students, current students, just to talk to them about what my career is like, what my typical day is like, and just kind of give them, you know, a little bit of advice about what it would look like to come into this career.
Okay, good. So what does your work-life balance look like?
My work-life balance is good, but it's mainly because I make sure it's good. You've got to be proactive. In graduate school, I was somewhat proactive, but I've gotten a lot better. My typical work week, I only work 40 hours a week, but it is a solid 40 hours. You know, when you're at Vanderbilt, you'll look on CNN, or you might get on Facebook, or you might do something while you have a PCR running, or you have a reaction going. And there's really not downtime in my 8 hours. I'm solid 8 hours working on a document or on the telephone with a client. But for me, at the end of the day, 8 hours is done, and then I'm done.
Great. So tell me what words of wisdom you would give to graduate students, something maybe you wish you knew then that you wish you, that you know now that you wish you knew then.
Network. Get to know your classmates, go to seminars, really take advantage of the opportunities that are here. I did not take advantage of all the different great things that Kim Petrie and you guys have here with the Brett office of different seminars, career symposiums and everything. As much as you may not want to network, you know, contact classmates and stay in touch. Because if anything, they'll give you advice about how they got to where they are.
Great. I think that's a wonderful answer. Thank you so much for coming back. We appreciate your time.
Thanks. No problem at all.